This episode of Comedy Bang Bang is brought to you by Squarespace. Whether you need a portfolio to showcase your work, a store to sell your products and services, or a blog to share your ideas, Squarespace gives you everything you need to make your next move into a reality. Not to mention, with Squarespace's beautifully designed templates and customizable features, creating a beautiful website is a simple and intuitive process. Simply add and arrange your content with but the click of a mouse, my dear boy. To start your free trial today, go to squarespace.com and enter offer code BANGBANG, and you'll get 10% off your first purchase.
Comedy bang bang, 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 comedy bang bang.
Our relationship got off to kind of a rocky start. I bought her some turtle food, but she mostly ignored me. Welcome to Comedy Bang Bang. Thank you to Dale Cooper Black for that wonderful catchphrase submission, and welcome to Comedy Bang Bang for another week. And certainly, none can argue we are definitely in the throes of Augie Doggy now. And third week of Augie Doggy. Ooh, I just kicked one of our guests. I feel bad, so I patted him on the knee. I hope he appreciates that. Scott Aukerman, I am your host for a jam-packed edition of the show. This is exciting. We have people from the world of music, people from the world of media. Although I think music sort of resides within that world of media. I mean, files, MP3 files now certainly could be classified as media. So I'm going to say two people from the world of media. Someone from the world of politics, someone from the world of jobs. Very exciting show. So we're taking all comers here today, and hopefully one of those jobs is within your interests, and you'll stick around until the entire show. I would say certainly try to make it until the very end. Don't press stop until you hear that earwolf tag at the end. Let's get to our first guest. Speaking of never pressing stop, he started his career in the 90s with the sketch group The State, and he has never pressed stop on it. After that, he has just kept going and going and going, and his newest project is on Netflix currently. It is entitled Wet Hot American Summer 10 Years Later, and it is currently on Netflix. You can binge watch it. Apparently, 8 episodes, I believe, of which I have seen every single one. Please welcome to the show co-creator and director, and maybe co-writer, I don't know, David.
Great to be here.
Wait.
Thanks for having me
David,
on the show.
Talking to your mic.
Hi there.
There you go. David Wain is here. Hello.
Hi. I hate to pull it to a halt right at the beginning, but you got it wrong. I did not start my career in the 90s. In 1984, had a DJ business in Cleveland called Metro Music. We even took over the second line, phone line in my house, and my mother answered it saying Metro Music.
A disc jockey service.
It was a disc jockey service. I had
where you had a team of disc jockeys and you would dispatch them to different radio stations?
No, I myself, yes, whenever they needed a sub, I had a stable of guys.
Right,
and they
okay.
would send them out. And also I had 2 turntables and a cassette deck.
One microphone, perhaps, as Beck once said?
I didn't even use a microphone. We were not we were cool DJs.
You would just shout?
Didn't talk. And then we would have...
you were like the Blues Brothers, the Jake and Elwood Blues of DJs.
Or like the teller of DJs.
Oh, I see. I guess maybe I mean then Elwood Blues? I can't remember which one was quiet all the time.
It's like which was Ebert and which is Siskel, right? For those
who's Statler, who's
for
Waldorf?
those of you over 20.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Good times.
Yep.
I was also a magician when I was 12, and I did birthday parties.
Okay, so you certainly got paid in the entertainment field ever since the 1980s.
Thank you.
Okay. And but steadily, though? I mean, there certainly were some months where you probably didn't get paid.
Yeah, like most of my life.
Well, what I mean to say then is in the 90s you started getting paid again.
Yes.
And you never stopped getting paychecks
except
since
for between 1996 and 2005.
Right. So there were some lean years in there.
That was a lean time.
Some wainy days in there.
There was some wainy days and Stella and other things that I did at a loss. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And Wet Hot American Summer.
And Wet Hot American Summer, of course. Which
the original movie.
Yeah, thank you. Yes. You don't need to correct me when all I said was, yes, Wet Hot American Summer.
I feel like you're a little off.
Speaking of Wet Hot American Summer, your newest project, here's what I like to do. I like to, I have a saying, I like to, on the weekends, I'll turn on the old TV. I'll fire up, sometimes I call it the boob tube.
Okay.
And I'll put on this thing called Netflix, which is a streaming service of which I subscribe to.
So you just throw in a pair of jeans because it's the weekend.
Mom jeans, usually.
Okay.
And I'll watch Netflix and I'll try to relax. So
Yeah.
it's like watch Netflix and relax is what I call it.
That's become a meme.
Yep.
Hey, I'm going to watch Netflix and relax.
Meme girls. So I did that over the weekend and I turned it on and I noticed, oh my gosh, there's a new television program and it's called Wet Hot American Summer 10 years later.
Now, in fairness, there's a new program on Netflix every day. But yes, this one is the best.
This one is the best one. And that's what, it was weird because it said, hey, we know we put on a lot of shit, but this is the best one.
And that is the catchphrase that we all worked on with marketing. And now that's how we're advertising it.
Tell me about this Wet Hot American Summer 10 years later.
Basically, we made this movie 17 years ago, Wet Hot American Summer, about the last day of summer camp in 1981. And then 2 years ago, we went to Netflix and did an 8-episode miniseries called Wet Hot American Summer First Day of Camp, which was about the first day of camp that same summer, starring the same group of actors who were too old back then, who are then way too old now. Whatever. It was, people loved it. It was,
But were people upset at the age difference?
there was a lot of people were very upset.
Was it, we love it with the caveat, these people are not the ages
There
they're
were
supposed
protests. No, you know what? It's fed the comedy because there's something I've learned in decades of doing comedy. It's make the actors too old.
to be. Now, you say you feed the comedy. It's a lot like when you eat a hamburger.
Sure.
You know what's great? Grass-fed beef.
Believe me, I don't
yeah.
even non-grass-fed beef. Forget about
Get
it.
it out of here.
Get it
I
outta
want
here.
grass-fed beef.
Yeah.
And in comedy, it's the same theory. You got to feed that comedy, and then it tastes great coming out.
Well, that's why, because grass-fed beef is GFB, and in comedy, it's the same GFB. It's a great fucking bit.
Right, exactly.
That's how we do it.
So there's a lot of great fucking bits or GFBs.
Well, let me finish the little narrative I was threading, which is only one more
you're
second.
crafting a narrative here about your show. Go
You
ahead.
know, filmmaking is storytelling.
Ever since the caveman days, we've been telling stories, haven't we?
Yeah,
Back
I mean,
when they
I've-
used to draw paintings of the people they used to bash in the head
Yeah.
with clubs. That's a story right there.
Tell me about it. I have to say, I've talked to you about this before, Scott, on your show.
At length.
But for me, I like to tell stories.
That's
And
all.
these are
That's what it's all about. We have
stories-
that need inside us.
I love storytelling. It's about the story. It's about the work.
You don't even care if you get paid for it, right? You just want to tell these
I
stories.
would do it for 10% less.
You get paid in stories that come out of your mouth.
And money. And money.
And money. And lots of money. You want lots of money
So
as well.
2 years after Wet Hot American Summer, First Day of Camp, came out, now, brand new, on Netflix now. You can watch it right now. You watched it this past
You
weekend.
can watch it tomorrow, too.
You can watch it tomorrow. You can watch
you
it
can
all
even
at
watch
once.
it maybe in a couple years.
It's like a great epic movie, and it's called Wet Hot American Summer 10 years later, and the entire cast comes back 10 years later. They're in their mid-20s. They're adults. They're trying to figure out their lives, and they have the reunion, and all the old stuff comes back.
That's relatable. That is relatable. That's
Yeah.
what I like in my comedy is relatability.
And it's in 1991.
Wow. Can I ask you a question? Are you going to next season do 10 years after that and 10 years after that until it catches up with the actual ages that everyone is?
Yes.
And then one more after that so people have to put on old age makeup?
Perfect.
Great.
Zeno's Paradox Edition.
Oh God! Oh my God! That startled me. Who is this? Wait, let's David. Let's put a
I
pause.
have
on
to
what
just
you're-
interject one thing, and then we can do it.
Okay.
Then we can move on to something else.
Okay.
To somebody else.
Yes.
But you said old age makeup.
Okay.
The easiest thing is just talcum powder in your hair, and then you're done.
And then because wrinkles.
All right, that was important. I needed to get
That was
that
important.
out.
Thank you.
Okay.
Let's turn to your left and to my, I'm going to say 2 o'clock, because our next guest, we have to get to him. And our 2 guests of honor, I would say co-guests of honor, David, are you all right sharing the guest of honor?
It's something I'd love it if you sort of go through my publicist and we'll figure it out.
Okay, yeah. I mean, let's talk about it after.
It's an easier way to do it.
Definitely talk about it after the show.
Let's do it now.
This is Comedy Bang Bang is the show where we talk to interesting people. That's our new catchphrase. David, you haven't been on the show since we coined that catchphrase. That's our new one. The show where we talk to interesting people.
I love it.
It's great, right? Because that piques your interest right there. Like if I were flipping through podcasts, I'm on the Apple Podcasts page or whatever.
Because I love listening to that one podcast where they say we talk to boring people, and I hate it.
Get it out of here. But if I saw the one that was like, the show where they talk to interesting people, my interest is piqued right there. I love to hear about interesting people. So you are definitely one of those, David. And our next co-guest of honor is certainly one of those as well. He is a musician from the Twin Cities, I believe, Twin Cities area. Big fan of his. He didn't start out in this band, but he rose to prominence in the band Semisonic. Or is it Semisonic? How do you like to say it?
I say semi. But
you say semi?
Yeah, but you can say, it doesn't matter to me.
So you allow people to say whatever they want to say.
I do allow that.
That is great.
Yes.
And that's the kind of person and musician he is, which is really what's so great about him. Ever since he left that band, he has put out solo albums and he has co-written songs for other artists. And his new album is called Recovered, and it is an album where he takes back the night as far as his songs go. He says, hey, artists, enough about you. I'm going to sing these. And he sings some of his best songs that he's co-written with other people. Please welcome Dan Wilson. Hello.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. This is David Wain, by the way.
By the way, I am a big fan of your band. I didn't realize that was you.
Awesome.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm now starstruck.
You are, literally, there are like stars, cartoon stars going around your head.
Exactly.
Almost as if you've been hit in the head with a frying pan. Dan, so great to meet you and have you on the show.
Yeah, I'm pleased to be here.
Tell me about this album. I mean, I'm a big fan. As I told you before the show, my ex-girlfriend and I, she's now my wife. I had to break up with her.
That's a nice distinction you're making.
When I proposed, I broke up with her. And I said, sorry, because I'm not going to have a girlfriend when I have a wife.
Good point.
I had to break up with her. And then I said, and now, here's the ring.
But you had that brief,
That's so smart because it could get so hairy.
Terrifying moment when you actually weren't girlfriend or
Man,
wife,
I was single for a good
split
60 seconds.
Did you just go nuts?
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
I was pulling so much fucking tail. But anyway, my former girlfriend and I used to listen to your chemistry, All About Chemistry record when we were first getting together. Cool. And so big fan. Tell me about this new record, Recovered. You took some of the songs over a decade or 15 years.
Yeah, it's
or so?
like Wet Hot American Summer 10 years later.
You're now older than what you should have been then.
You've gotten into the rehash business too. I'm so happy.
It's the Recovered is sort of a collection of songs that I wrote for other people with them, and that they cut on their records, and then I made a list of my favorites and did a record.
How long is this list then? Because you've written hundreds of songs.
Yeah.
So you made a list of your favorites. Is this what, like 30, 20?
I had like 30 or 40 that I thought were great ideas for it. And then I made super simple demos, and a bunch of them just were wrong.
You started singing and it was like, I sound horrible.
Yeah, like, for example, there was a really good song that I wrote with Fantagram, but when I sang it, it didn't make sense.
It sounded
Whereas
ridiculous.
When Sarah sings it, it's great,
Right.
So I kind of had to whittle it down.
Right. So when you whittle it down, how many songs are on this record, and how long to the second is this record?
I got no idea. But there's 13 songs on the record.
13 songs. So
so for the purchase price of $0, it's a good value.
Now, what happens? Yes, David, you have a question.
Sorry.
Yeah, please.
Do you have any clue how many songs you've written in your life?
Like less than 1,000.
Oh my God.
More than 500.
My goodness.
More than 501?
Are we going to get there if we do this one?
Let's do
one
Price is,
number.
let's do it like Price is Right. 501,
It's going to be a
502,
long
503.
show, but we're going to get to that actual number. I think if you include really bad ones, it's probably like 500 or 600.
And do you have them kept track of in some way?
Well, that's the certain number of them. They just kind of disappear without a trace, and then others, ASCAP and BMI have a big list.
What's the worst song that you've written? Is it a semisonic song or is it?
I'm not even going to answer this. Like, I don't even know where you're going, and I'm not going to answer you.
What's the best song you've written? Is the best
Which
song
one
you've
do you
written?
like best?
Well, I like.
You don't have to answer.
Personally, I like Act Naturally. That's one of my favorites. But
That's the best one.
That's the best one. Thank you very much. Now, what happens when you write a song with, say, Adele, and you wrote the song "Someone Like You" with her?
Yeah.
When you write it and you're like, oh my God, this is a hit. Do you ever say like, hey, Adele, I'm going to keep this one for me? Like, or do you do a Scorsese thing where it's like one for you, one for me, and then you keep them?
I don't.
I would say the fact that you didn't do that was probably a good move.
This is a good move. Yeah. Yeah. You have to know which of the two of you is a better racehorse in the first place. But early on, I had this thing with Semisonic. I made a bargain with them. If we were working on a song and it was sounding bad, we would throw it away and I'd write another one. Because I had this experience where you could be in a band practicing a song for a week. You all got madder and madder, but the song never sounded better. And
Right.
I just wanted to avoid that. So I eventually got this kind of cavalier attitude about, oh yeah, you can have it.
If
I
you
can
write
have
it quickly, then who cares about ownership?
Yeah, and it's a way of tricking yourself into thinking you're going to write another one.
Right. And so how many songs did you throw away for Semisonic that you kind of were like, these are good songs, but they're maybe for someone else?
Like 30 extra ones per record.
I don't know why we're so worrying about numbers of songs, by the way.
like-
How did this podcast become the number of songs podcast?
Because I was so vague about between 500 and 1,000. That was just,
Right.
and took the bait.
So you speaking of number of songs, you have 13 songs on this record, and who were some of the artists with whom you wrote these songs that are on this record?
This would be listing out some of the artists with whom he wrote the songs.
Thank you, David. That's perfect. Exactly what I was trying to
Gotcha.
say.
Okay,
Yes.
very good.
There's a song I wrote with Chris Stapleton on it, one Taylor Swift collaboration. Mike Doty and I did a bunch of good songs, and so, yeah, me too. And we did one. My brother Matt, John Legend. I don't know, it's a bunch.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever, when you go over to someone's house and I presume this is all done in houses, when you go over to someone's house and you go over to Adele's house,
Let's say.
and when you walk in the room,
When you walk down the spiral staircase.
right,
The
exactly.
first thing you see.
Is the first thing you say, let's do a collabo. Does that get everyone kind of in the mood? Like everyone laughs like, yeah, that's what we're here to do.
I'm gonna use that the next time.
Do you get nervous when you go over to someone's house that you've never met before? Or like, oh my gosh, because I'm a person who I don't love meeting the people I already know.
Or going to their houses.
Yeah,
right?
seeing people that I already know is like a big time nerve-wracking thing for me.
Yeah.
What is that? I'm so curious. Yeah, do you go to, if you go to Adele's house and you're going to write Someone Like You, what's the first moment of that? You're like, what's ding, 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 ding? Or how do you?
Do you say la 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 la? Like what happens?
Most of the sessions actually aren't at houses, but I mean, it's cool that I probably should let
right,
you
in
think
mansions,
that, but
in
not
mansions.
not at castles, shacks. The first thing that happens is usually if you don't know the person, it's you ask them what they've been up to. It's a normal kind of, it's like speed dating.
Mm-hmm.
And then you probably, because everybody involved is like crazy about music, it's a very short time before someone says, watch this, and they show you something on, like a clip of some artist you've never heard of, and it becomes almost like just, I'm in like show and tell, I guess. I don't know. And then at some point, somebody goes, what are we going to do?
Right. And then do you sit down at a piano or a guitar and like go, here's an A chord?
Sometimes.
What is it? What do you think about that?
Yeah. Well, I like to go into it with like something.
Some like chord progression
in
or
my
something
back
like
pocket.
that?
Like, yeah,
Right.
a good. Like the Nashville thing is to have a bunch of titles.
Okay.
And I kind of learned that down in Nashville. Like you come in with a bunch of titles and you just name the titles and the people go, oh, that's a good one.
And you start with the title.
Sometimes.
Yeah, we did that on our TV show, The State. We would
Interesting.
We would brainstorm 1,000 titles, pick them out of a hat, and
we
then
would
write it up.
We would do that on Comedy Bang Bang, where we would come up with a fake title for a fake TV show, like Ditch It or Pitch It, and then we would write the sketch to that. But I also knew
clarifies.
Right. I also knew a lot of comedy writers, and maybe you're like this, who would come into the room and they would have a sketch idea already, but they would pretend they thought of it in the moment.
Yeah,
and
I don't do that.
You don't do that.
I'm a terrible actor. It's not because I'm
well,
particularly ethical, but I can't.
You think you're terrible, but let's see a little bit of your acting. Like, let's. I mean, I know you're a musician, but let's see.
Maybe Coriolanus?
Yeah, Coriolanus.
How about Act 4, Scene 3? Everyone knows that one.
Sure.
I'll take the part of Malvolio.
Oh, okay.
Quest for Fire.
Quest for fire? Did Shakespeare coin that phrase, quest for fire?
Oh, he coined so many phrases.
Oh,
in the English
he
language.
was the
Everything he
expert.
said.
Yeah,
at it.
he came up with the alt-right.
The what? So when you're doing something, and I hate to keep bringing up Adele, but this is a song that everyone knows.
Right.
And a person everyone knows.
Right.
And a location everyone knows, the Earth. So when you are sitting down there and you hit on something together where you're like, ooh, that's the thing.
Yeah.
What is that lyrically? Is that did you come in with the title, someone like you? Or?
No, we didn't have the title, but she had the first 4 lines of the verse. And possibly some other things ready, like you're talking about, but I don't know.
What was the assignment? Were you hired to sit with her and come up with a song in the hopes of making a hit, or how did that work?
Yeah, well, we were introduced by Rick Rubin, who I've worked with a lot.
Dick Rubin, yeah.
And Rick, I said, what kind of thing should we write? I always ask, we have a little thing that we don't really realize is a routine. I asked him, what should we do? And he said, just write a great song. And that's his only answer ever. So it's super vague. And
Yeah, so why do you bother asking him
I don't know.
anymore?
It's like I say, it's like a little ritual we do that I don't know why. And sometimes it might be like you have to write this or that, but it never has been.
Right. And by the way, David, I think you're always trying to write a hit. You know what I mean? I know that you traffic in a lot of this kind of like alt comedy, like, oh, we don't care if anyone watches this kind of stuff. Dan is a professional.
I actually never think about, honestly, I don't think about whether something's going to be a hit.
Oh, you have to.
You
have to. You got to write the hits. Write the hits.
Yeah, all right, I'll switch it up.
My father was in the radio business, and he had a motto he went by, which is play the hits.
Play the hits. Because, Dan, you don't want to be going to you have a bank, right? Like you
I have a bank?
I mean, you don't own a bank. That would be ridiculous. But you have a bank account.
Yes, I do.
When you go to the ATM, you want to see those numbers going up, up, up. Right? Yeah, and that's what happens if you have hits. If you don't have the hits, then it tends to go down, down, down.
Oh, man.
So that's my advice to musicians.
Man,
right?
if you
Just to add on-
don't start me up, I'm going to get real philosophical.
If I could add
and I'll
on to
start
this,
yawning.
Yeah, David, you want to add on?
Hall & Oates in their time
Thank you.
were
Thank you.
a
Thank
God we're
virtual
back to that.
hit machine.
machine.
I
Boom,
mean,
boom, boom.
Rich Girl, need I go on? So, I mean, please.
That's all I needed to hear was
I
Rich
think
Girl,
I've
and
made
I
my
knew what
point.
you were talking
Yeah,
about.
okay.
Yes, thank you very much. Kiss on my list?
Of course.
Okay.
My friends call me all the time. What can I say? And so forth. Yeah.
Did you ever think, Dan, when you were recording this record, you're like, I've written a lot of these songs, but let me just put Kiss on my list in here and see if anyone
Pretend
notices.
that I wrote it.
And be like, yeah, I co-wrote it. And
How
then
do you
have
think I
someone
got that
call you
huge
on it.
list of titles I did? Yeah.
And just have someone like call you on it and be like, prove I didn't write it.
Do you ever write something and accidentally you're like, oh, this is exactly something I wrote before or something somebody else wrote before?
I've had that like 3 times, super vividly, really, really dismaying, but
And you're like, oh, oops.
pretty rarely.
You ever been like, yeah, you're playing a song with Taylor Swift and suddenly you're like, someone like you.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I wrote that already.
Yeah. But Mike, if I have an anxiety around that, it's to be in a session with somebody that I admire and we're jamming or kind of coming up with stuff on the moment. And my fear is that I'll quote unquote think of an idea that's actually one of their hits already.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's happened on my show sometimes where someone would pitch an idea and I would say, not only have we done that before, but you wrote it already.
That's happened to me too.
Yeah. So
That's cool. I mean, if you're just kind of pumping out the jams and it's the same jam every time, that's cool.
right, that's true. I
okay.
mean, people kind of rewrite
like
their own songs.
AC/DC is totally cool.
Or Chuck Berry, or you know, I mean, like it's all How? What is there anyone out there that you can say it on this podcast and it'll come true? I'm a big believer in this.
Okay, visualize
say it. Say it in the media.
Secret.
Get it out
in
there.
the media, that's not fair.
Say it in the
How
media.
will the people be able to do this?
Say it in the media, it'll come true. Is there anyone you want to work with that you haven't worked with, that you're a big fan of, that you want to work with them? Say it right here, and we'll make headlines, and it'll get out there, and you'll end up working with them.
Cheryl Ladd.
My what?
Cheryl Ladd?
I know you weren't asking me, but Cheryl Ladd.
Cheryl Ladd is who you want to work with. Okay, right. Okay, that's David. So David wants to work with Cheryl Ladd. Great.
Questlove, Elvis Costello, Julian Baker, Frank Ocean.
You just named my 4 best friends, so I will.
You're going to make it happen.
We're going to dinner, the 5 of us tonight. So come along.
This is why I moved to LA.
How does that work out? Do you say like party of 5 named Questlove? What usually happens when you go to the restaurant?
We usually put up Quest.
It's a question mark instead of a Q. Yeah.
But then it's always like a big text chain, like where are we going? Is it Musso and Frank's, or is it Denny's or whatever?
Yeah. How often is it Musso and Frank's? How often is it Denny's?
I would say it's like probably 60-40.
Yeah, great. Good numbers. Elvis Costello, I mean, he's like retired now. He's not making any records. He should. Yeah, he's not.
True.
I don't think he's making any records anymore. You should
He
just.
wrote a book.
He wrote a book instead. I would rather hear a record. I'm listening to this book. It's. I don't know, but I think you should.
I actually picked up a book recently. I had my phone in one
They're
hand.
heavy.
My phone in one hand, a book in the other. And I literally had the thought, I want to read this book, but I can't check my email on it.
Right.
So I put the book down.
Meanwhile, you can, if you're reading a book on a screen, you can have a little email box up in the corner.
Don't make up stuff that hasn't happened yet.
That's true. That's a perfect
Push a
world.
button and you have a book in front of you on a screen. That's absurd.
Well, Dan, now you're going to play some songs for us over the course of the show, and we're about to go to a break. So what do you say we play one right now?
Okay.
What do you think? And you,
Cool.
this is from the new album Recovered, which is in stores now. Is that correct?
Correct. It's in stores and in the ether and wherever it is that people get music.
And people can get MP3 files
from their friends. Yes.
or from the services.
Yes.
At a bit rate of maybe 320.
I don't know.
Okay, sure. All right. So what is this song called, and do you want to introduce it and tell us anything about it?
This is called When the Stars Come Out, and I wrote it with Chris Stapleton, who writes songs very fast.
Great.
I was looking for a change of scene. You were looking at a magazine. It was red carpets and limousines, and the grass seemed so much greener. All we wanted was to get there fast, so we packed up everything we had, running on hope and a tank of gas, like dreams weren't just for dreamers. We couldn't wait to leave that life behind, trying to find salvation in a city limit sign. And one of those LA nights, when the stars come out, when the stars come out, and they shine, and they burn so bright, they drown the downtown lights. When the stars come out, when the stars come out, everybody's somebody someday. Everybody's got a part to play. Everybody's trying to find a way to say what needs saying. Everybody's got a friend of a friend, somebody who can get you in, begging angels for sin in a game we're all playing. You and I, we're gamblers, holding cards that we can't see. I'm betting on you, and you're betting on me. And one of those the stars come out, when the stars come out, and they shine, and they burn so bright, they drown the downtown lights. When the stars come out, when the stars come out. Out on the freeway, the sun is out of sight, and I got a feeling tonight might be the night. Tonight might be the night, one of those LA nights, when the stars come out, when the stars come out, and they shine, and they burn so bright, they drown the downtown lights. When the stars come out, when the stars come out, when the stars come out, when the stars come out.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Written very fast, you say.
Thank you.
That was about 5 minutes or so. Did you write it in 6? Very good. All right, we need to take a break. When we come back, we're going to have more David Wain of Wet Hot American Summer 10 years later. We're going to have more Dan Wilson. And, oh, this is exciting. We have a pundit and someone in the service industry. We'll be right back with more Comedy Bang Bang after this. Short lines in the post office. Let me tell you something. There's a reason that Grandmaster Melly Mel did not sing that. He sang white lines running through my mind, because if he were to sing short lines running through the post office, everyone would say, this is a fantasy world. Grandmaster Flash and Melly Mel, are they two different people? I just looked this up. I can't remember. There are never short lines at the post office. Lines are long. It has been thus since the post office began. Through rain, through hail, through sleet, through snow, lines are still going to be enormously long, and it shall always be thus and shall never change. Going to the post office is terrible, but thankfully, you can avoid the hassle of the post office, and instead you can just mail everything from postcards to envelopes to letters to grandma to letters from grandma. Maybe you're going over to your grandmother's house and saying, do you have any mail I can mail for you? I don't know what you do, you weirdo. To packages, domestic, international. All of that, you can mail all of it with Stamps.com and get out of that post office. Stamps.com lets you buy and print official U.S. postage for any letter, any package, any class of mail, and all you got to use is your own computer and your own printer. Easy. Just click, print, mail, you're done. CPMYD. And unlike the post office, Stamps.com never closes. Just print postage for letters or packages whenever you want, 24/7. Plus, they're going to send you a digital scale, which automatically you put whatever you want on it, mail-wise. That should be their slogan. Stamps.com, put whatever you want on it. No, just put some mail on that Stamps.com digital scale. It will automatically calculate exact postage and help you decide the best class of mail based upon your needs. You can get discounts you can't get at the post office, and they bring all of the services of the U.S. Postal Service right to the tippy tips of your fingertips. We use Stamps.com here at Earwolf, and right now you too can enjoy, I don't mean the band U2, but you as well, can enjoy the Stamps.com service with a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus postage and a digital scale without long-term commitments. Just go to Stamps.com, click on that microphone at the top of the homepage, type in Bang Bang, one word, Bang Bang. Stamps.com, enter Bang Bang. Never go to that post office again with those short lines. By Jove, I've got it. That's you, right? When you get an idea. I hope you say that anytime you get an idea. That would be, what a wonderful world that would be if you just walked around the street and people were forced to say that, or not even forced, like it was a law or anything, but just we had this weird wiring in our brains where anytime we had any idea, we would say, by Jove, I've got it. Just think about walking around New York City, just hearing that everywhere you went. What an amazing world that would be. Anyway, it's not our world, but I hope you have an idea, because if you have an idea, you're going to want to count on Squarespace to help you to create an eye-catching online platform that brings that idea to life. To life? Yes, l'chaim. Whether you need a portfolio to showcase your work or a store to sell your products and services, maybe you need a blog to share your ideas. Well, Squarespace gives you everything you need to look like an expert right from the jump. You even get a unique domain. They're not giving out other people's domains here. That would be an insane business plan. That would be crazy. Hey, here, take barnesandnoble.com. No, they're not doing that. Squarespace, they get it. A unique domain strengthens your brand and makes it easier for visitors to find you. Plus, with Squarespace's award-winning templates, creating a beautiful website is a simple and intuitive process. You can add and arrange your content with, well, I've said it before and I'll say it again, but the click of a mouse, my dear boy. Nothing to install, nothing to patch, nothing to upgrade ever. Although, look, maybe you do have a question, okay? Squarespace, they've taken care of it. They have award-winning 24/7 customer support, which can help you with any problem, no matter how stupid you think you are. Maybe you're sitting there going, I'm an idiot. Why can't I figure this out? They don't care. They're not even going to call you names. Unless you want them. Maybe you want them to call you names. Just call up Squarespace and go, call me a name, would you? I like that. Maybe they'll do it. I don't know. Who knows what they do? But no matter how technical or trivial seeming your question is, Squarespace is going to answer it. Think of them as your very own IT department. So, if by Jove you think you've got it, make your next move. Start your free trial at squarespace.com today. Enter offer code BANGBANG. You're going to get 10% off your first purchase. Again, that is BANGBANG, one word. Go to squarespace.com and you'll get it, got it good. Comedy Bang Bang, we're back here. David Wain of Wet Hot American Summer fame, from the States, certainly. From Stella, none can dispute that.
Yeah.
Director of such movies as...
Role Models. Wanderlust. They came together.
Those Role Models and Wanderlust came together? What?
Yeah, they came here together.
They came together. Interesting. Yeah. We also have Dan Wilson. His new record is recovered at all the major media outlets. Tower Records in Japan, certainly. And by the way, Dan, I don't know if you noticed this, but your guitar is like slightly beat up. If you can probably afford a new one.
Yeah,
it's got a little wear and tear on it. I don't know if you had noticed that. I just wanted to point that out.
When I bought it, I was so happy, and then I just wrecked it.
Yeah, the dog just jumping on it. Yeah, I get it. This is exciting. We don't often have political pundits on the show because, it's not that kind of show. We're an entertainment show, certainly, and we're not here about, trying to take sides, certainly, but every once in a while, the country needs bringing together, and so we'll have a political pundit on to make sure that we're brought together. Yeah. And this is very exciting. We have one of those right now. The name is Testarossa Manigault. Hello, Testarossa.
How you doing, Scott? Thank you for having me on the program.
My pleasure. This is David Wain.
Pleasure.
Hi, Testarossa.
This is Dan Wilson over here.
That was a beautiful, beautiful record that you played.
There actually wasn't a record. He was doing that live.
So we're going to get into it right now? Are we getting into it? Because I'd love to just get going.
Because
I see already that the deck has been stacked against me.
I didn't want to take sides, but I'm going to say he played it live as well.
Yeah. All right. So I get it. All right. So first of all, I do appreciate you having me on, someone who's not a Hollywood elite. A real American. As you all obviously know, I'm the brother of Omarosa Manigault.
Omarosa. Omarosa from the Apprentice?
From the White House, all right? That was a long time. She works in the White House.
Oh, the Honorable Omarosa Manigault.
I see. All right. Let's just get into it then, Scott. So first of all, I just want to say, and I definitely don't want to offend anyone. I know that this is a joke show, or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lighthearted comedy show. But tell you what,
The show is
when
basically a joke.
when you say what you say, we'll take a poll of David and Dan and myself, and we'll see if you offended anyone. How's that sound?
Well, polls, as our great president has proven, aren't based in any kind of reality.
Oh, well, I mean, we can just...
I don't know if you saw the polls before the election.
Yeah,
Hillary had it in the bag, everyone said.
Right.
And I think the polls were proven wrong.
Well, this is just merely
a poll that would be far more accurate.
Yeah, it would be very accurate of just like, what do three people think, and then we could talk to the three people.
Much harder to...
Of course.
Yeah.
I get what's happening, and I get that you guys are feeling threatened because we have the greatest president in history in the White House right now. President of any country, greatest president, whether you're talking Canada or the UK or whatever.
I don't want to get in a fight, but I disagree.
But that's your opinion.
So Testarossa, you obviously share the same views that your sister you're saying.
Yes.
Omarosa,
my twin sister.
Your twin sister? Oh, I had no idea she was a twin.
Yeah.
Are you identical twins?
Yes.
Oh.
And so how did you get into politics? How
it's interesting. I sort of like the way that a lot of people do is just like I saw that there was a need. I saw that things were going on. I saw that America a few years ago was in a crisis of we had this terrible president who's not even an American.
Okay, hold the phone here 1 second, because I would think that you would like our last president.
Why? What would I like about, I got to pay for other people's sick babies. Yeah, that's why I go to work every day. I got to have people shooting at me on the streets.
Have people shot
I don't mean,
at you?
Okay, here we go. We're getting into it. All right. So no, of course I don't mean me personally.
No one has shot at you.
No, not yet, but
Have you shot at anyone?
I mean, at anyone.
In fairness, I think he was just saying he was against President Obama's executive order to have people shooting in the streets.
Right. Oh, okay.
Well, I mean,
but wait, have you shot at someone? You were about to say.
Not a person. I mean, but I hunt.
Testarossa, if we can just dial back the rhetoric here.
And
just, because I'm not. I don't.
Well, there's rhetoric on both sides.
Okay,
there's rhetoric on both sides.
I'll give you that. But if we could just talk more about why, instead of your views, which maybe we agree with, maybe we don't agree with, I would love to hear just more about you, just personally. I'm quite honestly, I'm surprised when I see Omarosa there on the TV.
I don't know why.
It's
Well, I mean, what are you basing that surprise on?
Well, let me.
The president has a lot of support. Clearly,
let me ask you a question. Have you ever been to a haunted house? Like not a real haunted house, or I don't know. That's a question. Have you ever been to a real haunted house?
As a child, growing up in Baltimore, there definitely were some odd happenings.
Right. There's some houses where unexplained
a lot of that.
Did you ever go inside one?
No, I mean our house.
Oh, your house had one.
There was a lot of it.
Do you think there were ghosts actually in your house?
I'm positive. I know there were.
Okay, so who were some of these ghosts? Did you ever hear any of their names?
Yeah. We had Fred Willard was the ghost in our house.
He's not a ghost yet, I don't think.
Here's the thing. I can't explain how the magic happens.
So it's maybe a time-traveling ghost?
Maybe. Fred Willard's ghost was in our house.
Okay.
I would constantly at night when I was trying to sleep, I could hear Fred Willard's voice coming from the living room.
By the way, the idea that you have to be dead in order to have a ghost is an old, tired...
That's very limiting. That's a cliche.
That's a Gen X thing.
So what era Fred Willard? Are we talking like...
90s.
90s, best in show, Fred Willard?
Post-real people, sort of in the best in show era, I guess.
Definitely real people.
So he never mentioned, it was real?
It was real people era.
Oh, so 80s maybe.
80s, yeah.
So
it was the 90s when he was haunting our house, though.
Oh, but he mentioned Fran Tarkenton and other real people hosts?
Yeah, he would mention...
Fran Tarkenton was more That's Incredible. I think you're thinking
I'm
of
so sorry.
Sarah Purcell and Skip Stevenson.
Right, okay. I apologize.
And Byron Allen.
I apologize to not only you, Testarossa, but our listeners.
And I do think Byron Allen is owed an apology.
Byron Allen,
Byron Allen, another great American.
Apology. Just apologize to everybody.
Just a blanket apology for everyone. I apologize to anyone who heard me misspeak about Fran Tarkenton. But was the ghost of Fran Tarkenton also haunting you?
No, we didn't have the ghost. We had Lou Ferrigno.
Oh, wow.
His ghost.
The Incredible Hulk himself.
They were never in the same room with me. I'd be like in my bedroom or in the kitchen, and I could always hear their voices coming from the living room.
So ghosts.
Wait.
Stars of network shows from the 80s.
David, I think maybe Testarossa, I don't know that these are ghosts as much as your parents might have
Had a television set
on after you went to bed.
I think that you're pulling.
Where did the ghosts appear? Let's start there. Were they?
I never saw them. I just heard the voices.
Heard them.
I would hear their voices throughout the house. I'd be in different rooms and always coming from the living room.
Can I ask you a question?
Okay, wait a minute.
Can I ask you a question? Did you ever hear a ghost say something like, "Where's the beef"?
Yeah, the old lady. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a lot of that.
Yeah, we had that same ghost in my house.
There was a lot of squeezing don't squeeze the Charmin. I would hear that ghost.
Yeah.
You know, so.
The Maytag repairman, I'm lonely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not. I'm
pretty
so,
sneaky sis.
I don't want to claim to be I'm Sherlock Holmes here, but I have a theory.
You're not claiming you're Sherlock Holmes, though.
Well, and I'm not claiming I'm not.
Okay.
You know, let's not get into fake news. I think it wasn't a ghost; it was a TV set.
Okay, I mean that's your opinion. Okay, and it's always hilarious to me how you Hollywood elites assume you know what real Americans are experiencing when you're so far removed from it.
Well,
you're so far removed.
Yeah, the reason I was asking you this question, it may have seemed like a crazy question. I can't believe we hit on you actually think your house was haunted, but I was going to say.
Oh, I know it was. I was there. Were you there?
I wasn't there. No,
Mike, it's Mike, right?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, this is a mic that I'm talking into. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm trying to remember.
Are you talking to my microphone or are you talking to me?
Just trying to remember your name, man.
My name is Scott. But
Scott,
my
great.
microphone's name is Mike.
Oh, okay. Good.
And so is yours.
Oh, fine.
So you can address.
I'll decide what my microphone's name is. Okay.
Well, I own it, so it's sort of like my slave.
Okay, well, I'm using. Okay,
whoa,
let's do it.
Let's tone down the rhetoric.
Slavery's been over for so long. You know, people keep bringing up slavery.
Your possessions are your slaves. We've established that on the show. I can make this microphone do whatever I want.
You know what? I know, like, everyone wants to bring up slavery as if, like, slavery's still going on. I don't know about you. I don't have any slaves, Scott. Okay, it's over, guys. Relax. Okay,
Right.
I don't know why we have to have things like Black History Month when we don't have White History Month.
Well, some would say that White History Month is every month.
Oh, come on, really? Oh, 'cause it's August. Oh, that's right. We're celebrating White History Month. There's all those parades I must be missing.
I mean, there was a parade recently, and it did not go well.
Just the ignorance is just mind-blowing in this room.
Is your current house haunted, by the way?
Yes.
If you ever...
I feel like ghosts have followed me my whole life. I just feel like I'm a conduit, you know, and...
so sometimes when you go to bed, when you like fall asleep, when you're watching the TV, you'll hear...
Well, like a lot of times I'll hear like, I'll be in my bedroom and from the family room, I'll hear like Larry David.
Right. The ghost of Larry David.
Yes. And because he doesn't live in my house, so there's no reason for me to be here.
Do you ever hear like the ghost of classical musicians playing da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da?
No, I don't know.
Okay. Let me ask you a question about Trump that might be slightly...
I don't know, David. I feel like we're going to set him off.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm used to this. I'm so used to this from you sensitive elites.
This is maybe a little bit late, you know, to the game in terms of what this question is, but do you think he should get rid of Sean Spicer?
It's a little bit late.
Sean Spicer's gone and good riddance.
David,
he was terrible at his job.
No, David, I know you've been on vacation for a little while. Sean's gone.
No, I knew that. I just still had the question from. I never got the answer when it was current.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, look, we have to go to a break here, but before we do, Dan, do you want to sing a second song? What do you say?
Yeah.
What
doesn't really have any relationship to what we're talking about.
Well, find some way to work in what we've been talking into the lyrics.
I think just literally parachuting me down into this moment with a song is the only way I can imagine doing it. and also we have all this tedium of me tuning up. All right.
What's the title of this next one?
I'm going to do Someone Like You that we talked about.
This is the aforementioned song that you co-wrote with Adele. She came in with
an immigrant.
So. She's not. She lives in England. All right. Okay. Anyway.
Well, she should go back there then.
She does.
Thank you. Thank you, David.
All right, here we go. This is Someone Like You.
By the way,
Dan
that
Wilson.
does relate to what we're talking about because Dan is someone and I am someone and
we're all someone.
We're all someone, and
It's everyone like us.
We've determined that we're somewhere, which is on the earth, as you mentioned.
That's true. So the very relatable song. This is from Recovered, which is in stores now. This is Dan Wilson, Someone Like You.
Yeah, it is. I heard that you're settled down, that you found someone and you're married now. I heard that your dreams came true. Guess he gives you things I couldn't give to you. Oh, friend, why are you so shy? It's not like you to hold back or hide from the light. I hate to turn up out of the blue uninvited, but I couldn't stay away. I couldn't fight it. I'd hoped you'd see my face and that you'd be reminded that for me it isn't over. Never mind, I'll find someone like you. Nothing compares, no worries, no cares, regrets and mistakes, their memories made. Who would have known how bittersweet this would taste? Never mind, I'll find someone like you. I wish nothing but the best for you too. Don't forget me, I beg. I remember you said sometimes it lasts in love, sometimes it hurts instead. Yeah, sometimes it lasts in love, but sometimes it hurts instead. Oh yeah.
Very nice. Dan Wilson from Recovered. All right, we're going to go to a break. When we come back, we'll have more David Wain, more Dan Wilson, more Testarossa Manigault. Oh, this is interesting. Someone from the service industry. We'll be right back with more Comedy Bang Bang after this. I know you sleep on your back, but what if you could give back while you sleep? Okay, now, I know that only works if you sleep on your back. I'm a side guy myself. I'm a tossy-turny side guy. Some people, they're stomach sleepers. I always think they're weird, though. What is that, like 10% of the population maybe sleeps face down on their stomach? I don't get it. The back is really, to make this analogy work, sleeping on your back, let's just say we all sleep on our back for the sake of this argument. What if, instead of sleeping on your back, you could give back while you slept? That's the opposite of that previous thing. Well, Leesa is an innovative, direct-to-consumer online mattress brand that is also socially conscious, i.e. giving back like that thing I mentioned before. Driven by the mission to provide, quote, a better place to sleep for everybody, unquote. Wow, that's a good slogan. That's like the show where we talk to interesting people. Leesa, you've done it. You've hit the nail on the head with that one. A better place to sleep for everybody. The craftsmanship of that slogan. Give your ad department a raise, Leesa, because this is amazing. Leesa, for every 10 mattresses they sell, they donate one to a shelter through their 110 program. Now, you ask, how did they get the title 110 program? You'll notice previously in the sentence I said for every 10 mattress they sell, they donate one to a shelter. That's where a lot of people don't know this. That's where that comes in. 110. See, you get it now. 110 program. Not to mention, Leesa also plants one tree for every mattress sold. Man, if they get too popular, we're going to have trees all over the world. We're going to have trees growing in our houses. Leesa, I hope you don't sell too many. mattresses. Plus, Lisa donates 1% of each employee's time to volunteer for local causes. What does that even mean? Okay, say they work 40 hours a week. 0.4 hours? I don't get it. Anyway, call Lisa. I'm not here to explain this to you. It's intriguing, though. Best of all, Lisa's patented universal adaptive feel, trademarked. Don't try to call your own mattress that, because they trademarked it. It's designed for all types of sleepers, including face down, and features 3 premium foam layers, including 2-inch Avena Floam top layer for cooling and breathability, 2-inch memory foam middle layer for body contouring and pressure relief, and 6-inch dense core support foam for durability and structure for sleepers of all sizes. And available online in the US, UK, the Canada, and Germany, or at the Lisa Dream Gallery in NYC. The 100% American-made mattress ships compressed in a box to your door so you can save a trip to the store. It is no wonder it's a Forbes Top 20 Startups to Watch. Try a Lisa mattress in your own home, or if you're feeling weird, go to someone else's house and order one. I don't care. You'll get it for 100 nights, risk-free, with free shipping always. And get $100 off when you go to leesa.com, lisa.com/bangbang. That's leesa.com/bangbang for $100 off, 100 nights, risk-free, given back instead of sleeping on your back. That makes sense. Comedy Bang Bang, we're back here. David Wain of Wet Hot American Summer, currently binge watchable. Would you say binge watch like?
I know you're joking, but there is this group of people that sometimes does sit down and watch the whole thing.
I'll binge.
It is like binging.
I'll binge watch every minute, all the way to the end of an episode.
And that is what people are calling it.
And then I'll stop. And then I'll stop and I'll say I'm going to watch the next episode next week.
It's these funny terms that we've come up with, like binge watch. For example, sometimes when I put something in the microwave, I'm like, I'm going to nuke it.
Or I'm going to binge cook this.
Yeah,
so good. Dan Wilson of Recovered is in stores now. Just sang the lovely Someone Like You with perfect pitch.
Oh, man.
Do you have perfect? If I sang a note, would you be able to tell me what note it is? In seriousness, I have a weird kind of perfect pitch where if I'm trying to have perfect pitch, I don't. Mm-hmm. How about this one? La.
A sharp.
That's like E flat.
E flat. Okay, let's hear the E flat. La is what I did. Whoa!
Damn, close.
Close. You got it right on the flat.
I mean, right on.
Do you often say close instead of exactly?
Someone is exactly right.
Yeah, when people say like, "Oh, are we supposed to meet for lunch today?" I'm like,
try.
Almost.
Good try.
Like close to 3, and then it's 3:01.
May I say something about that last record?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Last
please,
record.
yeah, please.
It was a live performance once again.
Yeah.
That song, Someone Like You, it is a perfect American song. Because that's what we want in our country, people like us.
Co-written by an English person.
Okay, you know what? But we see who really did the hard work, because who's here for that?
From what Dan said, she came in with the idea and had the...
Well, you know, Americans, if we're known for one thing, it's our humility.
All right, Testarossa, I don't know about that. We need to get... We do need to get to our next guest, if you don't mind. He's been on the show before. This is it's so good to see him return. He is or was a waiter at my favorite restaurant.
Well, I wasn't technically a waiter. I was the person in charge of getting ice into the urinals at Dodomio's, your favorite restaurant.
Right, yeah. I mean, when I say waiter, I mean you would wait until the urinal needed more ice.
Yeah, usually in the bathroom, yeah.
Yeah, in the bathroom,
which is what got me fired eventually, because I kept trying to pour ice while customers were like taking pisses in the urinals.
Right, and shrinkage is another term, David, that...
you could write down a list of terms that have come into modern use that were not used before.
Well, go ahead and work on that, if you would, while we...
sometimes I put something in the microwave and I say I'm going to nuke it. I mentioned that a little bit earlier.
A little bit earlier, yeah. Welcome back to the show, Randy Snutz. Hello, Randy.
Thanks for having me, Scott. It's good to see you as always.
This is Dan over here, Dan Wilson. Do you like music
and
media?
Great. Thank you, I love that. That last song is my girlfriend Carissa's favorite song. Sweet. And like every time she threatens to break up with me, she starts playing it and sobbing.
Oh, cool.
That's really touching.
So does she not break up with you then, or...
No, I mean, she that has nothing to do with the song, but she's full of empty threats.
Right.
And so she uses the song as a way to tell you that she's going to break up with you? Or?
Yeah, she craves drama and attention, and she's always like running around town with her scandalous behavior. And so like I think that she sometimes attaches to like things that have a bit more drama to them, and that song has a certain amount of gravity and weight, which I appreciate.
This is why women can't be president.
I don't
Too
know
dramatic.
about that. Yeah, I don't
Too
know
dramatic.
about that.
Holy
Testarossa.
shit.
It's been proven. It's been proven.
I'm not here to talk politics.
Yeah,
although
no.
I am ready to get into
You
this.
guys love science. That's science.
That's-
That is
I don't know.
How exactly has it been proven?
You know what? I'm going to separate you guys because David, I feel like you're egging on Testarossa, and Testarossa. I don't know why.
I'm
you're
just
saying things
speaking
like this.
science. You guys,
Yeah,
I thought you
I
guys in Hollywood loved science so much, but then you like science that agrees with what you agree with. Okay, I see.
Okay, but let's talk about the science of the service industry, which you would say that the food industry is a bit of science. I mean, recipes are like science in a way.
Sure, yeah.
You know, pouring chemicals on top of each other, that's science until you get that big volcano explosion.
I'm more one of those people that like buys food than makes it.
Right.
Yeah. But I currently I switched jobs, and I like the place that I work at now also sells food. I work at the ampm in a Chevron gas station.
Oh, ampm and a Chevron?
Yeah, the ampm is the convenience store that's located inside the gas station, right next to where you pump the gas.
Right. I thought the ampm also had a gas pumping business themselves. It seems odd that they would farm it out to the Chevron.
I'm not telling them what to do.
Right. Okay.
I'm sure they can collaborate, just like Dan collaborated with Adele, which personally blew my fucking mind.
Right. So
That was very cool because I knew your records before this, but man, it'd be like if someone was like, you help that garbage man, take stuff out, which is important,
right. So
just
that's
based on a really small scale, but Dan's on a big scale, and then Adele comes around, she's like, let's do this.
So what you're saying is what Dan did is sort of like if a garbage man was going around picking up garbage and then went to Adele's house and Adele was like, let me help you with that.
Well, I don't know. Did you take the garbage out at Adele's house?
I didn't do it.
Is that part of, by the way, when you're hired to do something like this, is that part of it? Do you have to do some light
You
cleaning?
make a short list of things you're not going to do.
Right.
And you just make sure they understand.
Okay, got
That's
it.
not
got
going to
it.
happen.
So the AM.
Now I'm reading into the lyrics of the song, and I'm like, does any of this apply to Dan taking out her trash and her being thankful for it?
Right.
That reminds me, because when I hired my girl, she's there. Once she shows up for the job, she's like, I don't do windows. Now what do I do? I'm screwed.
We all relate to that. So your AMPM Chevron is sort of like the Dan Wilson and Adele of gas station and convenience stores.
Yeah, I think
it's a wonderful collaboration that's very fruitful.
That'd be fair to say, yeah. And I do the windows at the AMPM too.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, which is just playing off of what David said.
Yeah. No, you did that masterfully.
Yeah, I'm just trying to riff here.
So what do you do with the AMPM Chevron?
Well, I stock products in the store,
Okay.
So cold beverages in the fridges, and then I stock snacks, and there's a little area that has shaving supplies and feminine needs.
Right. So how big is the area and what?
Oh, it's 5 feet long. It's 5 feet wide. You know what I mean?
I guess so. Yeah. So and it has shaving things as well as
Yeah,
feminine
that
things.
little there's always a shit ton of snacks, but then there's a little thing that's maybe you need aspirin or tampons or something to shave with or
Right.
Rubbers.
Whoa.
Whoa. That's
Probably 1 of the 5 feet is dedicated to rubbers.
one complete foot dedicated to rubbers.
Yeah, because let's be honest, people have all kinds of different sized dicks.
I mean, we could
You
take
know
a
what?
poll
Should
here.
we get into this?
Yeah, we should. Yeah, let's get into
start
this.
Let's
Yeah.
get into it.
All right.
I think everyone has the same size dick.
What?
Can I just ask Randy a
beautiful.
question? Can I ask Randy a question?
Yeah, sure, Testarossa.
Now,
Just try to keep it calm.
I'm calm.
Okay,
I'm calm.
okay.
I'm excited about this great nation of ours.
Your name is kind of a mix between testosterone and ponderosa.
Yeah, okay.
That's a great point.
That's just me riffing
Two
on it.
great American industries.
You a Bonanza fan when you say Ponderosa?
I
Wasn't
like
that
saying the word
Ponderosa?
bonanza, but I do not know what it means.
They've
Yeah,
got
what about
another
ba-
brother
what-
named Bonanza also?
Yeah.
They
You
do.
should know.
What about bananas? Are you a fan of bananas?
Dude, I go bananas.
Right. Okay, great.
I will say, if I hook up with a chick and I don't know her, I'm throwing on a rubber.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Dude, that's what they're there for, you know? Tag it and bag it.
For your dick that's the same size as mine.
Yeah.
Anyway,
What?
go
No,
ahead.
man,
Yes,
I've
Testarossa.
seen way more dicks than you guys.
Randy, do you
find?
find that you have this job now because normally you would have an illegal immigrant working
Okay,
a job
see, this
like
is-
this,
this is
but
what-
because we've been
No.
deporting them like crazy.
No, that
thank
hasn't-
you,
that
thank
hasn't
you,
happened.
Mr. Trump. Are you grateful now to the Trump administration that you have this job?
Well, like I said, like I don't really pay attention to politics. The only difference I've seen is that over the last like 8 months to a year and a half, the country has been inflamed by like a bunch of piece of shit assholes sharing their opinions. But otherwise, it seems like pretty much the same.
Other than that, it's like exactly what
It's exactly
it
the
was.
same. Like the economy is basically the same, you know, since 2008. It's
Right.
been
Not a lot of laws have really
upward.
changed.
I agree with Randy. CNN, MSNBC, all this fake news. I'm with you.
I don't
Okay,
watch
so-
the news. I'm talking about people coming in just like being upset at the ampm and me being like, oh, settle down. I can help you out. And then like they're coming at me and they're like, what does that mean? And I'm like, it doesn't mean anything. I'm trying to help you find rubbers or like a Diet Coke.
Are they usually there for rubbers? What percentage of your customers are there for rubbers?
I'd say 50%. If you had to boil it down, right? I'd say you got to round up to 50% for rubbers.
So 50% rubbers, 50% gas and snacks?
I don't know.
By the way, that's a trick I use is I boil down my rubbers and then I can use them again.
You can size them for yourself that way.
So, Randy, I forget what we talked about last time you were here.
We talked about my girlfriend Carissa's scandalous behavior.
Oh, right. That's right. You say scandalous a lot.
No, it's to describe
It's
the best
describes her.
adjective to describe her behavior.
Right. What has she been up to these days?
Collaborating with her friends to get up to some shenanigans that embarrass me constantly.
When you go over to their house, do you say, hey, let's have a collabo?
Dude, that's your word.
Wait, you're currently collaborating with your girlfriend's friends to embarrass her?
No, she is always accusing me of things around town. Like, she's always like, why did you, like, my girlfriend says that you are, like, hanging out with, like, Nick DeSantonio or something like that. And
were
I'm like,
you?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, yeah.
Who's Nick DeSantonio?
He works at the physical rehab services off of, like, Route 52.
What's the problem with you hanging out with Nick DeSantonio?
Well, he called her a cunt to her face.
Oh, well,
Sis.
I mean,
I can see that.
Words like
you can
this.
understand her issue with you hanging out with Nick. Then I mean,
But it's like, I'm not trying to hang out with them.
Was she being?
No,
the C
no,
word?
no, no,
But
no,
I mean,
no.
look, women can be
Testarossa,
difficult.
Have you told Nick, though, that it's, even if you're hanging out with him, that it's just not cool to call your girlfriend that word?
I mean, like, it's hard to talk to guys about, like, you know, feelings and behavior.
right? Yeah. When's the last time you tried?
I mean, I was like, hey, dude, Carissa's kind of pissed at you over the C word. And he was like, but she was acting like one, and I'll say it to her face again. And I was like, well, all right, we're between a rock and a hard place.
No, I think at that point, that's where you push through and you go a little further and say, Nick, why don't we talk about what your issues are and why you would use that kind of language? And then you can have a breakthrough and maybe have a real relationship with Nick instead of the facile male testosterone relationship that we're used to having.
And if you really loved Carissa, you might just say, Nick, if you're going to keep this stance, I can't hang out with you, buddy.
There you go. See, David,
I don't know, like most of what you guys just said made me feel pretty deeply uncomfortable. Like, you know, I'm not one of those people that's like trying to deep dive into my emotions, you know?
but you seem pretty in touch with your emotions.
I mean, like every once in a while it sneaks up on me and I'm like, damn, that was profound, you know? Which is
Right.
probably what happened with Dan and Adele. Like she throws out those first 4 lines and Dan was like, man, I'm inspired.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what happens. It
Yeah.
sneaks up on you over and over again.
Then you
Yeah.
just riffed on it.
Just riffed on it.
Dan, you're in touch with your emotions. I mean, you've been married for a long. You're a family man.
Yeah.
I was looking at your personal life on Wikipedia.
Are you doxing him?
And on hidden, I was just looking at his personal life on a hidden camera.
You and your wife are contemporaries at Harvard University, where you studied visual arts and she studied government.
Mm-hmm.
So you've had a relationship with your wife for a long time. Is there anything you can tell Randy here of like how do you keep it together? How do you maintain a relationship over a long period of time? Because Randy, I think you have the potential to grow. I've seen that within you. You have a soul within you that recognizes things like this, but maybe you just need a little push.
Yeah, because I get really frustrated and confused with my emotional behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you do it, Dan?
I don't really think I have any wisdom on this area. It's endlessly confusing.
Yeah.
And it's just that's why I keep spinning out all these songs.
You dive into the confusion and you say,
Well, I mean,
I want to figure this out.
I feel like Randy's really actually very much in touch with his emotions. He speaks very directly about them.
I can tell you the secret to a successful marriage.
Oh,
I want
please.
to know.
When your wife says, hey, will you order pork fried rice? You order it, but then you also get broccoli and beef without even having to be asked. That is marriage. And I know that
marriage.
people are tearing up right now.
I feel the song coming on.
Your friend Nick does not sound like the coolest guy.
He's not really my friend. We went to high school together, and he always has beer.
He just always has beer. Why don't you buy your own beer? I mean, you work at ampm Chevron. Like, it seems like you could just. Do you get a discount?
Yeah. I get a 5-finger discount.
Okay. Well,
Sometimes 10 if it's enough beers.
right. So 2 6-packs.
No, I could carry 2 6-packs. Well, yeah, okay, yeah. But I was thinking more like an 18-pack that's like heavier, so I have to use 2 hands.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So, but 12 would be one hand.
Yeah.
So anything above 12?
Anything above 12 is going to be 10
Going to be a
fingers.
10-finger discount.
Yoink. And I say yoink every time, dude. That's when I'll get busted. I'll get busted for saying yoink too loud when I take it.
Oh, so you're walking out. Let's reenact this. You're walking out of the ampm. Your boss is there behind the counter.
Yeah.
You have some beer that you're trying to make sure that he doesn't notice you're taking out. And then you say...
I usually say like, good night, yoink.
Yeah.
I always thought a 5-finger discount because when I used to go to escort service all the time, you get 5 fingerings and then you get the 6th one free.
That's a totally different discount.
That's a 6-finger discount.
Well, no, you just get one. It was really buy 5, get 1 free in terms of getting fingered.
So if your boss is constantly catching you for stealing, why aren't you fired?
He's not yet because I haven't said yoink loud enough. Because honestly, I usually say like, good night, yoink.
But see, I really like this because you're taking what you want, and that's what this nation was built on. We don't wait for permission. We don't wait for permission. We don't wait for permission.
I have to say, you're a confusing man.
We wanted to build a great nation. We didn't wait.
Are we a nation of laws, or are we a nation where people do whatever they want?
We didn't wait for the King of England to give us permission to kick the Brits out. We just kicked them out.
Well, that's because it wasn't a democracy. We wanted to establish one, which is difficult to do, and people need to collaborate and do well. Collabos, right?
Yeah. I wonder if George Washington said that to the founding fathers.
He probably did. Like, this weather's terrible, but we got to cross this river, me and my collabos.
I don't think he ever said that because I've seen Hamilton 5 times and I don't think he said it.
Yeah, that's
Dude,
true.
Lucky you. Talk about Hollywood elites. I've been in line for those ticks forever.
Wait, you stand in line every day?
Well, hell, if they were just sitting out there, I'd yoink one of them myself.
Right. You know, here's a little tip. During a Broadway show, just go in at intermission because there are a lot of people who leave at intermission, and then you go in, and they're not really keeping track, so you just go in and sit down in an empty seat.
Then I missed the first act, and then the second act is just like the 1900s, right?
Well, listen to the album for half the album, and so you'll know what's going on. Then go in and see the visual.
No, I got to see the faces when they sing. That was what was so cool with Dan. Like, his eyes were closed, but I was staring at his face the whole time.
Yeah.
Could you feel me?
Do you not listen to records?
Could you feel me? Huh?
Also, now it's a record. Now it's a record. Oh, when I say it, it's not a record. Oh,
well,
okay,
true.
Right. I see what's going on.
Well, we just have one final feature on the show, and that is a little something called plugs.
Bugs, like dogs. Oh fuck, we messed that up. We do not suck. Please play our song on your podcast. We'll blast their ass. You know we last. Plugs, like bugs, like dogs. Oh fuck, we messed that up. We do not suck. We take some nuts.
Wrap it up, guys.
It's not my favorite. Sorry.
A lot inside.
And there we go. All right, that was Groovy Plugs theme by $10 Empire. Thank you so much to $10 Empire for writing and recording that. Dan, you're a professional musician. Were you able to? Well, you don't have your cans on.
I don't have my cans on.
Oh,
baby.
you weren't able to hear that. That is.
So I don't have to say anything.
Such a shame. Wait, did you say baby?
I did.
You say baby too. I love it. All right, let's plug it up. Let's go to you, Dan, first as co-guest of honor. What are you plugging here?
Am I plugging? Oh, my album.
Your album. It's out
Covered.
right now.
Yeah.
What's a fair price to pay for this album?
I don't know, like $12 or something like that.
12 bucks, 15 bucks,
Yeah.
20 bucks. Remember when CDs started getting up there to like 20 bucks?
Yeah, it was.
Can I give you a cassette and you just
ridiculous.
tape it for me?
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'll do that, but I don't have a tape player.
Oh, man.
So sorry.
We'll work out some workaround.
Yeah, there must be a way.
My car only has a tape player.
Do you have any gigs coming up that people can come see anywhere around the country or the world?
Oh man, I do, but I can't remember where they are.
Where can people find your information? Do you have some sort of website?
DanWilsonMusic.com.
DanWilsonMusic.com.
Yeah.
Go check Dan out. No better night at the theater than to see the music of Dan Wilson.
Dig it.
And you have another song for us coming at the end of the show. David, what do you want to plug?
Well, I mean, I want people to watch the show Wet Hot American Summer 10 Years Later on Netflix.
Certainly.
I also would like to point out this very funny movie called Fun Mom Dinner, which is also available on demand and in some theaters, that stars Molly Shannon and Toni Collette and a bunch of great people. And there's a cameo scene where myself and Paul Rudd play Jewish brother pot dealers.
Okay.
And that's not a joke.
So when you have a tiny role in a movie, you call it a cameo, as if it's very special that you're appearing in it instead of just a small role.
Well, I know that in the theaters when I come on screen, people go nuts. They're like, "Oh my god!"
Right,
I mean,
and they suddenly have to store something in their nut house.
There's a cut. They cut to and they reveal me and Paul Rudd standing there, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, David Wain's in this!"
Wow, incredible! And people can get that on demand. Testarossa, what do you want to plug? Where can people find your musings and ramblings and missives and scribes and manifestos?
Well, continue to support my sister Omarosa and all her social medias. But I have a show at the Groundlings.
You have a show at the Groundlings?
On August 28th, the Black version. You can see that. And at Largo on the 16th of September with the guest Wayne Brady. So come and see Testarossa do some Black version improv shows.
Interesting. I
Blackversion.com.
didn't know you were part of that group. That's so interesting.
Yep.
I mean, I would have rather have talked to you.
I don't know why you would think, why you would assume that.
I rather would have talked to you about improv comedy than
You didn't
stuff.
ask the question.
Oh man, why
You
didn't
did not ask the question.
God, I gotta get a better producer. That producer could have told me you were in an improv group. I could have talked to you about that the entire time. That would have made for a more pleasant conversation. All right, Randy, what do you plug in here?
I'll plug like the death of CISO.
Okay, yeah.
That's your plug.
That's my plug. Yeah,
Check it out.
I'll plug like the hashtags Buy Jillian and Save Shrink, which are two shows that were on CISO.
So you used to watch these shows on CISO.
Yeah.
The show Shrink, which has our friend Tim Baltz in it. He created that show, and a great show. And then also Bajillion Dollar Properties, which our friend Tim Baltz also was in. And both of those shows are on CISO, which is shutting down soon. And we're looking for different homes for those shows.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to get those hashtags going. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's what it is. Hashtag Buy Jillian, hashtag Save Shrink. Try to find a new home for these orphans. And then on Twitter,
There should not be orphans that don't have parents in the world.
Yeah.
We all agree with that.
There's enough parents out there.
There's certainly enough adults to just like watch an orphan for a
Don't
day.
say we all agree. It's just I have my thoughts on that, but continue. I'm sorry.
I don't know that we want anyone to be childless, but that I think it applies to television shows. We all want them to have a home and to be out there.
Yeah, find those kids those homes. Go find a single kid. I guess is my last plug. I got another project coming up, but I've been told I can't talk about it yet.
Oh, really?
I cannot plug it.
Yeah, okay.
'Cause this comes out Monday, right?
Yeah.
Can't do it.
Can't talk about it. Okay. Well, I want to plug, let's see. I'm doing a live comedy Bang Bang out at the Now Hear This Festival in New York City on September 9th, I believe. I'll be out there with Paul F. Tompkins will be there and a lot of special guests. This is going to be a big blowout show. There are 3-day passes for the entire festival with some of your favorite podcasts will be out there. Lauren Lapkus and John Gabers' podcast will be there. I think some of the Pod Save America people will be there.
That's a great one.
I mean, my show's good too.
This is a great show too. One of my favorites.
But that's your favorite above mine, or
No.
What are you texting? The entire time you've been folding paper or texting. What have you been doing?
I'm doing a text piece about folding paper.
Oh, I can't wait to see this. You should have plugged that.
It's coming out at the American Museum of Art.
Oh, of just art, not even modern art. Wow. Okay. Anyway, tickets are available at nowhearthisfest.com. You can get 3-day passes or single-day passes. And this is going to be, if you saw our last New York show, it's going to be a lot like that one. A lot of great special guests. All right, let's close up the old plug bag.
Talk about bags and bags. I'm talking about opening bags. I'm talking about bags and bags. I'm talking about opening bags. I'm talking about bags and bags. I'm talking about opening bags. I'm talking about bags and bags. I'm talking about opening
right, guys, that does it for us. I want to thank our guests. David, always great to see you.
Thank you. Great to see you, Scott.
Two titans of comedy, just growing up in parallel lines.
The people who are so lucky to hear us just
the two of us
bantering.
Together. I mean, it's I'm trying to think of. It's a lot like
someone should record. Someone should record this.
It's like Justice League. It's
like when Dan met Adele and just was like, "Hey, let's make this podcast was our someone like you." I want to thank you, Randy. It's always good to see you.
Thanks for having me, dude. Hell yeah, baby.
Yep, great. And Testarossa, please promise to come back and talk about improv exclusively.
Of course, and let's just keep making America better and better,
or improv.
And support
keep making great improv.
Our troops,
improv,
and support our president.
Improv comedy.
Yeah, and improv comedy as well.
Yeah, great.
Lots of good comedy out there.
All right, and Dan, so great to see you. Good luck with the record. Big fan. And you have one last song to take us out?
Yeah. Closing time. Open all the doors and let you out into the world. Closing time. Turn all of the lights on over every boy and every girl. Closing time. One last call for alcohol, so finish your whiskey or beer. Closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. I know I want to take me home. I know I want to take me home. I know I want to take me home. Take me home. Closing time. Time for you to go out to the places you will be from. Closing time. This room won't be open till your brothers or your sisters come. So gather up your jackets, move it to the exits. I hope you have found a friend. Closing time. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. Yeah, I know I want to take me home. I know I want to take me home. I know I want to take me home. Take me home. I know who I want to take me home. I know who I want to take me home. I know who I want to take me home. Take me home. Closing time. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end.
Beautiful. All right. That's
my
it for
favorite
us.
version I ever heard of that song.
That's amazing. All right. We'll see you next week. All right. Thanks. Bye.
Hey everybody, I'm Brandon Johnson.
And I'm Robert Evans.
And we are the hosts of Cracked Gets Personal, which is a show where we talk to a wide variety of people about a wide variety of topics.
We're talking garbage men.
Outside of the dumpster,
It was a suitcase, and inside the suitcase was 24 porn DVDs. And there's a couple beer cans also in. And I'm like, that guy must have had a good night.
Former human slaves.
He made money off of me from turning tricks. He made money off of me from the pornography. But, like, I had to sign the contract because if I didn't, he would beat me.
The whole gamut of human experiences. We have juiced it like a delicious orange and mixed it with the tequila of comedy in order to make a tequila sunrise of knowledge and laughter.
Make sure to be around on August 16th, because that's when the first 2 episodes are going to drop. And please click and subscribe.
This has been an Earwolf production, executive produced by Scott Aukerman, Chris Bannon, and Colin Anderson. For more information and content, visit earwolf.com.